Stingy Jack Kane was a formidable figure in the criminal underworld, known for his sharp mind when it came to orchestrating profitable, illicit activities. With a knack for calculating the gains in his money-making ventures, he ruled his turf with an iron fist. Yet, even in his position of power, Jack was not without his share of troubles. When a rival gang dared to encroach upon his territory, Stingy Jack's initial response was characteristic of his ruthless nature. He ordered hits on the drug dealers selling in his hood, and his gangbangers gunned their rivals down. His aim was to send a clear message. However, Stingy Jack's enemies swiftly retaliated, launching a violent attack on Stingy Jack's headquarters. To further complicate matters, they framed Jack's most trusted enforcers for random killings of civilians, which cast a bad reputation toward his legal business organization. In the grip of seething anger, Stingy Jack found himself consumed by a frustrated rage that had struck him deeply. Overwhelmed by his emotions, he spiraled into a reckless binge of whiskey and cocaine, attempting to drown his frustrations in a haze of intoxication. Yet, far from finding solace, his mind only grew more turbulent with each drink and line. As he stewed in his fury, the edges of his thoughts became jagged, his reasoning obscured by the toxic mix of substances coursing through his veins. Desperation mingled with his anger, and in a moment, when his better judgment was drowned by the tempest of his emotions, a dangerous notion took root. Stingy Jack's mind whispered,
"I'd sell my soul to get back at those motherfuckers."
Well, well, look at you, Stingy Jack. Impressive what you've carved out for yourself here.
Yeah. What's it to you? You come to admire or just to get in my way?
Call me Mr. Scratch. I've heard about your recent troubles. Those pesky little rats making a mess on your turf, causing you all sorts of headaches. You're not one to just roll over, are you? I admire that.
Yeah, you seem to know a lot about my problems, amigo. Either you've got a hell of a gossip network or you're here to sell me information. What's your angle, Mr. Scratch?
It's not every day I see someone who's got that fire in them. You've got a reputation, Stingy Jack. A legacy. But let's be real. Everyone's got their weak spots, right? That's where I come in. I've got a proposition for you. Shall we say a chance to settle what is coming to them, once and for all?
I've had my fair share of deals gone wrong, so forgive me if I'm not jumping at the chance.
Fair enough. If you don't need my help to put an end to those rats shitting on your turf, you've got the brains for this game, Jack. And I've got the resources.
You're telling me you've got a solution to my problem? What is it you want from me?
Imagine a clean slate, a chance to take back control. Just power and respect, bigger and bolder than ever. I've seen your kind before, Jack. And trust me, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. All I need from you is something you won't even notice is missing.
The weight of Jack's troubles and his ever-ambitious ego clashed within him. Despite his skepticism, he couldn't help but entertain the idea that this mysterious figure might indeed possess the means to provide the revenge and power he so desired. Stingy Jack accepted Mr. Scratch's offer.
Just remember, Stingy Jack, sometimes the devil you don't know is better than the troubles you do.
A surprising turn of events followed within just a matter of days. The landscape around Stingy Jack underwent a remarkable transformation. His legal ventures began yielding unprecedented profits, a stark departure from his previous loan shark activities. Jack found himself walking away from the predatory world he had once thrived in, retiring from that line of work altogether. Simultaneously, the rival gang that had dared to challenge Jack's supremacy experienced a crushing defeat. In a fierce and violent gun battle with Stingy Jack's own crew, they lost more than half of their members. The combined effect left Jack with a staggering expansion of his territory, well over twice the expanse he had controlled before. Jack even ventured into the music industry. In an unexpected move, he released a record through Demon Pack Records, aptly titled Gangster's Paradise Lost. The album sold remarkably well, defying expectations to become a resounding success. This creative endeavor showcased a different side of Stingy Jack, hinting at depths beyond his infamous reputation. With his legal businesses thriving, his adversaries vanquished, and his creative pursuits flourishing, Stingy Jack's world had indeed been redefined. The narrative had shifted, and as Stingy Jack basked in the glow of his newfound power and wealth, he seemed to discover a truth that had long eluded him. At first, the success had been intoxicating. His legal enterprises flourished, his adversaries crumbled, and his creative pursuits found unexpected acclaim. But as the days went on, a growing emptiness gnawed Stingy Jack's core. The very things he had pursued with violence and aggression now seemed to weigh him down like heavy chains that bound him to a life he hadn't truly chosen. Stingy Jack embarked on a path that had once been inconceivable to him. He began attending church services. This decision was met with skepticism from those who knew him, as Jack had long been associated with a world far removed from the sanctuary of a church. It was a Friday night. Stingy Jack sat in the dimly lit room, his thoughts absorbed in the words of the Bible. A sound interrupted his reverie, and there was Mr. Scratch, as if conjured by some unseen force. Jack's reaction was subdued, almost as though he had been expecting this encounter.
Mr. Scratch.
I see you've taken up a new hobby.
Something tells me you're not here for a theological discussion.
You always cut to the chase. You're right, though. I've come for what's owed.
No need for the dramatics. We both knew it was coming. You know, Mr. Scratch, there's something I'm sure you probably already know about me. My last name isn't really Kane. It's Frost. Jack Frost.
Jack Frost. Now that's a name.
I took the name Kane because I always felt like I had wronged my brother. Dante Frost. We were close once. Circumstances tore us apart. He was a rapper, you see. Quite talented, too. But he got caught up in some dark dealings, made a few desperate choices. Choices that led him down a path he couldn't turn back from. You see, it's kind of a funny story, Mr. Scratch. You could say Dante is the reason why I'm here with you right now.
Dante Frost. A name that rings a bell indeed.
Stingy. Jack took a sudden and unexpected action. He flipped on the lights. The room was instantly flooded with brightness, revealing an unexpected array of religious symbols adorning the walls. Mr. Scratch's reaction was immediate, his features contorting with a mixture of disdain and discomfort. He fought to keep his composure despite the surge of distaste he felt.
Seems these decorations aren't to your liking, Mr. Scratch. That whiskey you had earlier, a little something special in there. Holy water, to be exact. Turns out holy water can be rather effective against certain types of entities. According to what I've read, demons of a certain stature can't cross a threshold adorned with religious symbols.
You've surprised me, Stingy Jack.
It appears the tables have turned, wouldn't you say? I'll make a deal with you. Bring my brother back from hell. Release him from whatever torment he's facing. In return, I'll take his place.
You'd willingly take his place in hell?
If it means he gets a chance at life again.
You, humans, and your silly little ways.
We got a deal or what?
You got balls, Jack. I'll give you that. But your offer has a flaw. That power resides with a being far above my pay grade. Only the divine can bring back the dead. And trust me, Jack, that ain't happening. In this cosmic chess game, some moves are beyond even me.
If you can't bring him back to the world of the living, then free Dante's soul from hell. Let him wander in purgatory. Give him a chance at something other than torment.
And what would you offer in exchange for this peculiar request?
I'll take his place. I'll go to hell and work for you. Endure whatever the fuck awaits me there.
You humans are endlessly fascinating. Very well. Stingy Jack, you have your deal.
Unbeknownst to Jack, Mr. Scratch harbored a more sinister motive. He knew the nature of purgatory, the realm of uncertainty, where souls wrestled with their memories, their pasts, and their desires. Its emptiness was a double-edged sword, capable of granting a twisted form of respite, but also driving souls to madness. Mr. Scratch saw an opportunity. Dante would yearn for something more substantial, something familiar. The nothingness of purgatory would eventually push Dante to want to return to hell, to the familiarity of torment. Besides, the crosses surrounding Mr. Scratch had no effect on him. Jack's false sense of power amused Mr. Scratch enough to carry on with the charade. Dante Frost awoke in the emptiness of purgatory, his senses disoriented and his mind clouded by confusion. The world around him seemed like a vast expanse of nothingness, an endless void that left him with a sense of unease. He tried to grasp onto his memories, to find some semblance of identity, but it was as if his past had been wiped clean, leaving him with nothing but a void. His first breath in this strange realm felt heavy, laden with uncertainty. He looked around, or rather, what he perceived as looking, in a world where even the concepts of up and down seemed to lose their meaning. There was no light, no shadow, just an infinite abyss that surrounded him.
Dante?
He murmured to himself, the sound of his own voice unfamiliar in this surreal place. But who was Dante? What had brought him here? The questions echoed in his mind, each one leading to a dead end. The boundaries between heaven, hell, and the in-between grew ever more tenuous, carrying both hope and peril for the souls that navigated them. And as for stingy Jack Frost, he found himself before a stretched hellscape. As flames leapt from the mountains, piled high with burning bodies, the tortured souls writhed in unimaginable agony. Demonic creatures prowled, defected, abused, and inflicted tortures upon those unfortunate enough to be caught in their clutches. Screams echoed in a symphony of suffering. As stingy Jack could feel the extreme, unending agony and torment of damned souls pressing down heavily upon him.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. For I am the baddest motherfucker in the valley.